During my second year of college, I worked on a little game called Hexenhold. The game is a platform tower defense hybrid where you jump around and place towers to defend an evil necromancer against demons and ghosts. I and the other programmers got to work almost immediately, and within the first few weeks, we already had a pretty robust engine that could handle hundreds of enemies and projectiles without breaking a sweat. Development was going pretty well overall. There was just one problem. We still hadn't properly developed our editor workflow. Game and level data were stored in JSON files that the engine reads into memory on runtime, and up until this point, we were just editing these files directly to make changes to the game. This obviously wasn't a clean or sustainable workflow, and I knew that we'd need a more streamlined way of working with the engine sooner or later. So I got to work on some tools. What you're looking at here is what I like to call the debug game editor. It's integrated directly into the engine using IMGUI and can be brought up at any point during runtime at the press of a button. This editor gives you a full view of every single entity spawned into the level, as well as any tags associated with it. Selecting an entity in this menu, or clicking on it directly, lets you view and edit its attached components on the bottom left. Taking inspiration from Unity's Inspector, where you can serialize variables in C# scripts, this window also lets you edit any exposed variables in the entity's attached behavior script. So for the player, you can edit its movement speed, jump height, strength of its throw, anything you'd reasonably want to do. You can also spawn entities by right-clicking anywhere on the screen. You can change the entity to spawn using this drop-down at the top right. This editor also has a bunch of other miscellaneous functions, like drawing colliders, toggling sheets, and other fun stuff. As the project progressed and our designers' needs expanded, I worked on adding to our toolset by making more specialized editors. I made a wave editor to help our systems designer more easily control how enemies spawn throughout the stage, and to fine-tune a proper level of difficulty for each one. I also added an animation editor to give our sprite artist a live preview of the work as they try to create and edit sprite animations in-engine. For this one in particular, I took a lot of cues from existing tools like Unity's animation editor. Our designers were already intimately familiar with these kinds of tools, and so modeling ours after theirs helped create a very seamless and intuitive experience for them overall. For our level designer, while I could have made a specialized tile editor specifically for our engine, I figured in this case it would be best not to reinvent the wheel. I opted instead to create a way to import maps made in the tile editor directly into our engine. Importing our tileset art into Tiled, our designer was easily able to churn out multiple different tile-based maps that could be exported as JSON and read seamlessly into the engine. With Tiled's object layers, I was also able to let designers easily place down both entities and colliders, and edit their position, scale, even select variables directly within that editor, and have that be reflected in-game. Now, moving this object is as easy as just dragging it into position. Alongside maintaining the engine's OpenGL graphics backend and implementing various other gameplay features like the player controller, a lot of my time on this team was spent improving on and adding to these tools based on the ever-changing requirements of the project. Due to my cross-disciplinary skills as both a designer and a programmer, I've always made a goal to help bridge the gap between design and tech. And I believe making these tools helped me greatly in developing the skills necessary to actually achieve that. These tools carried us all throughout development and were a vital part in us getting the game done in a timely fashion. In the end, we had enough time to polish up the game to a good state, and we were so happy with it that we pushed it even further and got the game to Steam.